think we're good. Let's see. Are we live? Are we live? Not sure if we are crushing it right now. There we go. Yes. All right. My G's. Okay. Welcome back. What's popping? Yo, if we're lagging too much, let me know. One more time. Yeah. Okay. Test. Are we good now? What about gold? Yeah, we're going to talk about gold. We're going to talk about the dollar. For sure. Yeah. 1 second. Okay. Are we back? Yeah, we have to make sure the internet connection is good. Okay, amazing, amazing. Okay, what's happening, Fee? How have you guys been doing? Yeah, have you guys been working a little bit? You guys have been asking how I've been doing. I can ask that same question to you right now. 2024 is almost finished. So the question is, have you been able to take things to the next level? I know I am, for sure. Yeah, we have to do it together. Let's see the chat real quick, man. There we go. There we go. We're gonna go over. We're gonna look at the chart in a second. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Brad, it's been a rough month. Jolene, it's been a great year. Yes. Carlis, I have for sure. I job. Yeah, getting the hang of it. Surely. Carlis, LTA been crushing it. Starlink is $80 a month. I'm in a random hotel, my friend. I'm in a random 5-star hotel right now. That's it. But the internet, yeah, I need Starlink for sure. It's what, $80 a month indeed? You're right. For sure. Wilhelm, leveling up for sure. Many more levels ahead. Nice. Okay. It's good to see you guys stepping up, you know? And the reason why is because many of us get into that vicious circle. Yeah? Every year, the same thing. Starting the year strong. Summer, holidays, festivals, parties, and then winter time, and then shit, the year is almost over. I should get back to work. It's time to step up, my friend, and I think that right now at the moment, I think this is the best moment to do so. So let me see if this works better. Okay. First was the video, now it's the sound. I think it's good right now. Yeah. Where are you guys from? Let me know. Where you guys are watching from at the moment. All right. Raman, India. I see Daniel from Czech Republic. Ivy. Mandura, West Australia. Nice. Ivy is one of our OGs. She has been with us for, I think, what, 2.5 years now? It has been a long, long journey. Yeah. This last 2 years were, you know, flew away. Absolutely, honestly crazy. We have not been streaming for what, like 2 months right now. It felt like forever. Okay. But at the same time, we have been doing a lot of work. And my goal also as a trader, and you have to understand that, my goal also as a trader is to just constantly step up my game as well. Constantly trying to innovate. Doing some deep work, getting more familiar with the fundamentals, understand statistics, building a better process for myself. All these things come throughout my journey, right? It's also my journey I'm sharing with you guys, and I've been sharing it for the past years. We have been doing around 400 live streams in the last 2 years as well here. So some people say, yeah, well, you abandoned us for 2 months. Hey, listen, man, 400 live streams, free game, right there. Okay, I was not playing with my little wheelie during these last 2 years. Trust me, I've been grinding, I've been working, I've been trying to improve. Yeah, and I hope the same for you as well here. So today is the CPI, and I thought there wouldn't be a better moment to actually start going over, you know, the markets a little bit as well here, talking about the dollar specifically, due to the fact that the dollar right now is still in that major resistance. Yeah, the CPI came along, yet we are in that weekly resistance at the moment. Still, we cannot break out of the resistance right now. So this is a very, very important moment for, I think, a lot of us. And the reason why is because it would be, in most cases, very, very beneficial if the dollar just decides to drop like a bomb right now. That would be fantastic, all right? Is that going to happen? Well, there are a couple signs that we're going to talk about. But at the same time, the dollar tends to consolidate for a long period of time before it does, or before it, you know, in essence, does in the first place. So for example, when we said the dollar is going to go up, we talked about the dollar going up right here on our channel already. I think you guys remembered it. If you remember us talking about the dollar pushing to the upside here when we were bottoming out, I think that was one of the last streams actually. You know, the FOMC, yeah, 50 basis points rate cut when everyone expected the dollar to continue to drop, and we saw that reversal. Now we're at the top of the range. All right, we are back at the top of the range at the moment. So this is again a crucial moment for the dollar, and also a crucial moment for you as a trader, because the best opportunities are gonna be when the dollar starts moving again. Okay, so this might be the most annoying part. This is the part where the dollar has no direction, no certainty, no direction. Yeah, it's hanging there a little bit on the top here. Now today we had the CPI, all right, and the CPI came out beautifully as expected, 2.7%, so slightly higher, which is in my opinion a little bit neutral. I don't see any benefit from this right here at the moment, built up around the CPI, right? We expected a little bit more of a bigger approach here. But again, keep in mind, guys, that next week, yeah, we have the Federal Reserve interest rate decision on a Wednesday. So what we're waiting for right now is the dollar to actually make a move. Yeah, that's what we want to see here. The dollar needs to step up its game. So what I see with a lot of us, guys, and we have to agree here, who's trading on the lower time frame? If you're trading on the lower time frame, specifically the lower time frame, type in a yes in the chat, please. Yeah. Type in a yes in the chat if you trade specifically on, let's say, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, no, let's say the 5 minute, the 50 minute or lower. Yeah? 50 minute or lower. Type in a yes. Okay. Then my second question right now. If you do that, do you pay attention to the higher time frame? Like, do you really pay attention to the higher time frame? At all times here. Okay? I'm talking about the daily, the weekly, maybe even the monthly, okay? If you're simply just staying on the lower time frame, let me know as well. Type in a no, yeah? If you're just on the lower time frame, you don't look at the higher time frame at all, yeah? And I'm talking about the daily and higher. I'm not talking about the 1 hour, right? The intraday, the 2, 3, 4 hour. I'm talking about the daily and higher, yeah? Specifically. Let's see. I see EU says no. Kapar says sure. Mohammed, both. EU says no. Killer Gold. Kapar, Ivy. Skinny D, nice. No, yes. Very mixed. Very mixed. Okay. So a lot of the guys are indeed only look on the lower time frame here. So the thing that I want to talk about as well, and I'm going to upload a video in the next coming days exactly talking about this as well. So if you have been enjoying my video content as well, we're starting to dropping some bombs because we have to go a little bit deeper. Yeah. And you have to also understand that everything that happens, and you're going to see it in the video, happens within a larger cycle. All right. There are things happening behind the scenes that we want to know. We want to be synchronized fully in order to capitalize also on the lower time frame. And sometimes you need some patience, you know, in order to get there. So the dollar needs to move, yeah? And at this moment, if you look at gold right now, the gold is back at the daily and gold is looking very strong. I'm planning, all right, I'm planning to buy gold for sure around the end of the year. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. And then we're going to cover the dollar and I'm going to talk about gold specifically, about the Christmas rally. But that's not just the only confluence, right? The fact that during Christmas, gold tend to rally practically all the time. Yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit deeper of why gold might do something like that. Also based upon the positioning of the bigger players right now. Yeah. Because if you want to know exactly what gold does, and I can just confirm that for you here. So you go to Gold Council, you type in Gold Council on Google. If you want to take things serious, at least, if you want to really understand what's happening on a bigger picture on gold. So you don't want to just, you know, only draw some trend lines and that's it. You want to actually start looking at, you want to understand the asset you trade. That's kind of the bigger picture here. Okay. And then you go to, let me see, gold.org indeed. And then you go to the supply and demand statistics here. So Gold Council, supply and demand statistics, right there. Boom. And what you can do here and what you can see here, okay, and this is super important. If you trade gold right now, then I highly recommend to dive a little bit deeper than just the technicals right here, okay? Specifically, the supply and demand statistics. I'm gonna give you some sauce right now. That's my goal. And you take this from Q. Let me see here. We have to scroll down a little bit. All right. And we're gonna take this a little bit further to the downside. There we go. Q2 to Q3. Yeah, Q2 to Q3. And what do we see here? We have a section supply and we have a section demand. Yeah, key differences between supply and demand. So we can talk about order blocks. We can talk about, you know, supply zones, demand zones. We can talk about fixed profiles. We can talk about LTA, concepts, volume, whatever the case may be. Technicals, super important, right? Technical analysis, super important. Timing, super important. All of that, fantastic. Now, what needs to happen here is that besides your timing tool, we kind of want to get a hang of these other understandings in the market as well here. Yeah? Such as who's driving gold particularly. And if you look here at the data, the actual supply and demand statistics for gold, and you go from Q2 to Q3, then you can see here under this section, I'm not sure if you guys can see it because it's a little bit small, but let's see if we can zoom in a little bit here. Investment, all right? 266 ton, okay? 266 tons in Q2. Q3, 364 tons of gold. So what does it mean, G? Let me know in the chat. What does it mean? Yeah, 100 tons of gold, and this is gonna help you. Trust me. You can now say, he's not trading live. He's not taking the trade right now. Or you can pay a little bit of attention here and actually start understanding the asset that you trade a little bit better. So we can then go to the technicals and we can then look for the setup and we can then talk about what we're going to do in the next coming days. So if you simply look at the investment here and you look at the 266 tons and it takes then Q3 to 364 tons and you go to this investment section, then you can officially see that in the exchange traded funds, the ETFs, all right, the gold ETF, you guys probably know the Bitcoin spot ETF, or gold has the same, went from minus 7.1 up to 94.6. So that means that a lot of institutional investors right now are buying a shit ton of gold, okay? They have been buying a shit ton of gold and price has been coming up because of that. All right, so people that are telling you right now, your friend, your nephew, your uncle, right? Your guy in the community that tells you, yeah, hey, the Chinese central banks have been buying. Yeah, well, let's look at the facts. Central banks, 202 tons to 186 tons, okay? So central banks have been selling. But the ones that have been buying are the investment banks, all right? Your Goldman Sachs, your institutional investor. So these guys have been pricing the price of gold up. So whenever we saw price just coming up from Q2 all the way to where we are right now, Q3, Q4, right? A 20% gain that came from the institutional investor. So that's just factual, all right? There's no denying that that has been the case here. That's the only way to do so, all right? And you can calculate how much money that actually is. We're talking about 100 tons of gold, all right? We might do, we'll figure out how much it is, all right? 266 to 364. So 100 tons of gold, you can figure out how much money that is, okay? So the fact that institutional investors have been driving the price of gold up is very important for us. So it doesn't matter if you are a scalper or if you are a day trader. Your goal as a trader right now, regardless of anything that you're doing on the technicals here, is simply that you want to have a clear bias beforehand. And if somebody tells you that the technicals are the only way to find a clear and clean bias, if you are a scalper or a day trader, is absolutely garbage, all right? Don't listen to that. There is so much information out there, all right? Everything is out there. There is no hidden agenda, all right? So the hidden data sets that you don't have access to. It's just, you just simply don't know where to find the data that you need to find in order to get what you want to get. And that is that information that determines your bias, all right? That's the thought process here. So while we have been taking a break, while I've been, going and traveling a lot, traveling to Europe, traveling around the world a little bit, I've been doing a lot of deep work with my team, with the people in my community, grinding our asses off as well here. In the meantime, I got a beautiful daughter, all right? I got a beautiful daughter. I mean, life is good, man. I can't complain here, but the biggest epiphany moments are going to be the fact that you need to set a clear bias for yourself outside of what is happening here, okay? And there is one thing that's called sentiment analysis. That's something that you can utilize. And the reason why I think this is extremely important is because you want to understand what the bigger players are doing, okay? And the reason why you want to understand what the bigger players are doing is because you know that they are driving the price. So if you are able to find them, to discover how they roll, to discover how they manage their positions, then you're going to find very beautiful trades, okay? And this is the main reason why we, shorted the top of gold. Why we shorted the top of gold right here, a day before the presidential election, because we saw that institutional investors were heavily short on gold at that moment. Okay, so that's some interesting information. Now, the question is, how do you get that information? We can talk about it, later. We can talk about all that information if you're interested in it. But right now, in regards to gold right here, gold is a major resistance, okay? Between the 2730, 2740 and 2755, we are now facing that institutional area of supply. And if you ask the question, Lorenzo, does supply and demand on the higher time frame really works? The answer is yes. Supply and demand really works on the higher time frame, for sure. That's no doubt to me, okay? There is just a way of confirming that. You can see also here beautifully how we tapped into the 2540. I'm also not sure if you guys have watched the video. If you haven't watched the video on my channel talking about gold specifically, I highly recommend you, because we're kind of doing these predictions here. Listen, if I'm right on my predictions on my channel, if I'm right around, let's say 4 out of 5 times, I'm super happy, right? I'm super content with what I'm doing here on my channel, right? Trying to share wisdom, trying to showcase my trades live, just showcasing exactly what I'm doing here, regardless of the live streams, just always making sure that I have the content available to you. And if I see something very interesting, I'm going to share it with you. Right now, we're of course heading in towards the end of the year. The yearly closure is coming. You should really start thinking about how I'm going to take this next year to the next level, truly. Am I going to sit here again and play with my little wheelie all day long, right? Taking some trades when I'm tired, with no plan, getting to my PC without a single thought process of, okay, am I just going to be, looking for shorts this week? No, you come to the stream or you come to your computer and you're like, okay, let's see what we have today, right? Let's see what we have today. And what tends to happen around that period is that let's see what we have today is you being one step behind. Because there are guys in the game that know exactly what they're looking for weeks ahead, okay? Weeks ahead. So it's very important to pay very close attention to that, in my opinion here. Now, I quickly want to check out the chat real quick here, because definitely I miss you guys. It's been actually a long time. 2 months feels like forever. Let me see what we have here in the chat. Mohammed says, congratulations. Shout out to you, my friend. Awesome. Awesome. David. David. What about the New Zealand dollar? Yeah, we're going to talk about the New Zealand dollar. That's a great example. That's a beautiful example. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Recovery potential. We didn't break the intraday though, so we're going to talk about that later. Free liquidity. Yo, King's back. Shout out to you, my friend. Shipley. Yo, Shipley, my friend. What's up? Desmond. Mike, my friend. Yeah, Mike and I, we have been absolutely... Yeah. Mike, you're a legend. I want to get you on the stream as soon as possible, my bro. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Where are you now? I'm somewhere in Jakarta, Indonesia, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still in Indonesia right now. I came from Europe. I'm in Indonesia right now. I'm in a pretty nice hotel. We'll go back to Bali very soon. Absolutely. Congrats on the addition to your family. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So what is important right now for gold? Yeah, let me know. Just ask me a couple questions here about whatever you want to see here. We can talk about it. But the number one thing that I've seen, a lot of guys are missing is the understanding of what we call the bigger picture, okay? Understanding the bigger picture in the market. Because it's so It's so easy to get tracked, you know, on the lower time frame, to stick on a 5-minute. It's so easy to just sit on a 5-minute and say, you know what? I'm just gonna follow this 5-minute trend because the trend is your friend. But yeah, what trend are you talking about? Yeah, there are there are so many trends on different time frames happening simultaneously. All right, so it's very important that we always have that understanding of the top down, and we want to know what's happening on the higher time frame. And we can go to the lower time frame as much as we want here, but imagine if you just confidently are able to be biased correctly. So let's say you are now officially bearish biased. And let's say you know in advance that you can be bearish biased for the next 40 to 60 days. How much would that help you in your overall day-to-day trading? When you're trading on the lower time frame, when you are day trading, when you are, you know, of course, swing trading as well, but like, let's take it to the lower time frame. When you're day trading, or maybe even scalping, especially the day traders here. And I know most of our audience are day traders in the first place. So I just know that by definition already, most guys are here on the lower time frames trading, and they're changing up their bias practically every couple of days. So 4 days they're bearish. And let's say gold as an example again, right? So 4 days they are bearish. And then let's take it to the 1 hour. There we go. So 4 days they're bearish. And then the next 4 days they're bullish. And then they're 3 days bearish. And then 2 days bullish. And then 8 days bearish. And then 6 days bullish. Yeah? Bro, that's confusing as fuck to me. All right? There is always something happening on a bigger picture, right? If you simply understood that this whole trend was going to be bullish, okay, then at some point you could say, okay, now is the time to maybe step out of the market. Now is the time to not be involved here. But I remain relatively bullish overall on a bigger picture. Yeah? So, for example, we talked about a trade here. And this was a trade that I shared on my channel. It was a British pound against the dollar. Yeah. We made around $10,000 on a trade. And in essence, what we did here was we knew that at this moment in time here, yeah, the pound from the highs was going to come down. And I don't want to go into all the statistics why I believe the dollar was going to come down. You can watch that video. But in essence, we have some tools that literally share what retail is doing, what smart money is doing. But anyways, right? The pound dropped 500 pips and it came down for around 70 days straight. So imagine if you can be bearish now for 70 days and you know that in advance. How much would it help you with your day-to-day trading? Yeah. So let's say that during this period, specifically when we break structure to the downside, you are now officially bearish. So let's say we take this to the 1 hour. Yeah. And we are looking at that zone. And during this whole moment, all right, this whole range right there, the only thing that you have to do now is just simply look on the technicals for short opportunities until you get another confirmation from the market that it's over, that it's done. All right. That's the thought process. So I don't know. You guys are really good. Most of you guys have a really good understanding of trading already. I know most of you guys know exactly what to do, how to enter a trade. You know, many of you guys have been already, you know, profitable, at least profitable now and then. But then at some point, you know, either you make a mistake and you start losing your money again and it, you know, it dissolves like, you know, and you start from scratch. That's one layer. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have the skills or you don't have the capabilities to actually become profitable. Because I think that most of you guys are, you know, are making money in this game, at least now and then. But the question in this game is not, are you making money now and then? The question is more or less, are you making money consistently? Yeah. And if that requires you to be more patient at certain moments in the market, then that's the only way to do it. So my question to you, and this is a real question, right? Let's say you are that guy and you are right now, making money in this game from like a technical standpoint. You have the capabilities. You know exactly how to enter a trade. You understand what a break-of structure is. You understand what market structure is. Yeah, you have a really solid understanding of risk management. The only problem is, or maybe the things that you're lacking, is having a clear understanding of finding the right bias. Let's imagine that you can solve that. How much would that help you in trading? Let me know here in the chat, please. How much would that help you in trading, right? Understanding and having a clear and clean bias for yourself. I mean, I'm telling you by default, that's what helped me, all right? That's what helped me tremendously. Absolutely. Because what tends to happen is that when you have a clear bias, you know exactly when to stay out of the market and when to be engaged in the market. It's a big difference. Remember when I was streaming every day for the last, 400 days, 400 streams, and I didn't take a trade for 2 days in a row? And then people were like, this guy never takes a trade. He never takes action. He never trades. He you know that mindset? Yeah, me too. So we need to get rid of that, all right? We need to get rid of that. we need to get rid of that completely, okay? Because it's all about finding the right bias and sticking to your bias confidently. So what helped me tremendously, and I'm just leading you through my journey, okay, was just to look outside of the technicals, all right? Outside of the technical charts, right? Outside of because fantastic, right? If you could give yourself, and I'm actually going to look at the chart, and we're gonna go into actually some examples here. We're gonna look at gold. We're gonna look at a couple things here. I'm gonna have a couple projections that I'm interested in, where I want to buy gold in the next week or two, something like that. Where I'm gonna buy gold, and I'm gonna go big into gold as well here again, and I'll show you why. But I want to hear in the chat right now, if you could rate yourself on a technical level, so purely technical speaking, yeah? If you could rate yourself from a 1 to a 10 around your technical skill set, okay? What number would you give yourself? And I can already feel that it's gonna be up there. It's gonna be up there. Let me know. All right, let me see. My chai says an 8, I agree. Maybe even a 9. Ivy 7. I think you're at a 9, Ivy. I know you. Skinny D 6. I think you're at an 8. All right. Rollside says 8. Bronze says 7. ICT Trader says 1. Felix Wu says 4. Moopet says 2. Brad says 7. And Sapke says 8. 4, 6, 6. Honestly, I expected better, guys. Yeah, I expected better. You know why? Because you're over fucking complicating it. You're over complicating technicals right now. That's the real, that's the true answer to what's happening here. That's why everyone here is saying, I'm a 4, I'm a 6, I'm a 7. I know the guys that are saying 7 or 8, or sorry, 6 or 7. I know some of them personally, and they are better, if not better than myself. And they think they're trash. Why? Because they're not getting the results, the consistent results that they're expecting to get. Yeah? So the conclusion is that most likely you are not a 4. Yeah, you are not a 5, you're not a 6. I think that you are an 8 or a 9 or a 10. Now, there's always room for improvement. Let's say you are a 9. Yeah? That is because you think that there is some sort of magical fucking formula somewhere hanging around in the sky somewhere that that you're trying to climb, a ladder that you're trying to climb that you will never fucking ever reach in your fucking life. Ever. And the reason why I'm having this conversation with you right now is I took this break on purpose. I took this break on purpose to have some thought process here, because I've been dealing with you guys for 2 years, every day. And I just know that I see the same pattern. And that pattern is that most of you guys are overcomplicating technical analysis. All right? Things are going up or down. That's it. And of course, you can always find room for improvement. But the amount of guys that I have seen trading a specific way, and I don't want to go into the strategy, and I don't want to go deeper into, the way they have been trading, right? What kind of strategy they have been using, because that's up to them completely. Everyone has their own approach, their own strategy. So I leave this up to them completely. But the amount of people that I know that are actually very good at trading, right? They have the capabilities, that are very intelligent people, right? These guys that are stuck and hanging and just not moving forward and just are constantly overwhelmed, by the markets over and over again. It's almost like they're climbing a ladder up, but they're not moving up because the ladder is moving down. So they're climbing up and the ladder is moving down, right? That's trading in a nutshell for so many guys in our group, so many guys that we have been seeing. So we have to change the game up a little bit. We have to break that spell. And the only way to break that spell is to start looking outside of it. Yeah, outside of your day-to-day chart, your technical analysis, because I think that you got to a point where most likely you already got at least to a certain level where, in my opinion, you should already be consistently profitable here. Yeah. If you agree with me, type in a yes. Honestly, most of you guys got the skills. That's all I'm saying. And I know you guys. I know many of you guys personally. Or maybe I've never seen you in person, but you know what I mean. I've spoken with you. We've been dealing with each other. Okay? It's like High School Musical. All right? We know each other. We are now acquaintances, okay? At least for the majority of you guys in our community, we are acquaintances. So I know a little bit about you. I know a little bit how you trade, okay? And if you ask me, it's not the technicals that are doing you wrong right now and that are hurting you right now, okay? It's the deeper layers. It's either the larger cycles that are moving price, right? The larger players that are moving price against the retail traders. It could be a lack of education against it. It could also be the understanding of thinking that technical is the only accessible information to us, which is not the case. And if you think about fundamentals, you simply think, oh, so I have to look at dollar news, and you type in dollar news on Google. Well, that's not going to help either. That's for sure. At least that's what I did before. Australian dollar news on Google. Well, yeah. And then I get a bunch of random articles that doesn't tell me shit. I don't understand it. So that's not going to help either. But then there was that one thing. Yeah. Who knows Larry Williams? Who knows Larry Williams here? Let me know in the chat if you know Larry Williams, who Larry Williams is. I know ICT have been talking about him, but he's not implementing his actual strategy. But who knows? Who knows Larry? Uncle Larry. All right. Yeah. Larry Williams, all right? My guy. Let me look him up here for you. Okay? He's the brother. Yeah? He's the brother of Jerome Powell. Uncle Jerome. You can see it in his face. This is Larry, okay? And Larry is a legend in the space, okay? This guy has been trading for around 60 years. And does it say a lot about a trader when he's trading 60 years? Well, not per se, but this guy is an absolute G, okay? And what he told me was that it's not your strategy that matters, okay? It's not your strategy that matters, because your strategy is your strategy. Your day trading, your technical analysis, right? All these things change over time, right? But what doesn't change are the underlying conditions in the markets, right? The underlying conditions don't change. What are these underlying conditions? Well, smart money buys at certain points where retail sells. Why is that? Well, that's a certain moment when, retail builds a liquidity pool for the smart money to either accumulate or distribute their positions, to reverse price at certain moments in the market, to then shift towards a new potential cycle that leads into a new trend, and that's then built upon the open interest that moves price further along or not, right? That's all it is. Market positioning, right? So if you are able to track the market positions in the market, right? If you are able to track what the smart money is doing, what the retail traders are doing at certain moments in the market, how much would it help you with creating a clear bias? Yeah. I tell you where this is not good for. It's not a timing tool. It's not a timing tool, all right? This is where your technical analysis comes into play. So all the skills that you have gathered right now, all the information that you have gathered over the last 2 years is not wasted information, all right? It's actually great that you have been working. You have been trying to become a trader. You have been doing your analysis. You have been doing your technicals. All that stuff is fantastic. It's working. Everything is going well. It's the underlying conditions that many people are not aware of, okay? So that's important. Now, we're going to talk about it a lot more. I have a lot more videos on my channel talking about it also, specifically where we cover, predictions built around that. And then we use the technicals to time the market. And if I'm right 70% or 80% of the time, I actually minimum want to be right 80% of the time, to be honest. 4 out of 5 times, then I'm very satisfied. Yeah, very satisfied. And that has to do purely with the understanding of market participants in the market. Okay? So Larry, Uncle Larry, created a bunch of tools, and these tools were built around the COT data. Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the COT data. If you are, type in a 1 in the chat. But the COT data practically shows you all the positioning. And before you're going to click off of this video because you see a bunch of numbers because it scares you, trust me, it's not as complicated as you might think it is. Okay? It's not complicated at all. And if you then think, yeah, this is only for swing traders, wrong. It's not only for swing traders. It's for day traders. You just need to know how to use it correctly. Yeah? So I'm going to show you something. All right? And we just talked about gold specifically. And I'm going to create a quick screenshot right now. Let's see if we can do that right here. I think we can do that. Wait, let me figure that out. Nope. There we go. Let me see if we can figure it out. Yes. All right. Is that possible? I think so. No. Okay, anyways. I'll give you an example, all right? When gold was at the top of the market here, and we're going to go back, and I'm going to come and I'm going to end this stream in around 15 minutes, something like that, 20 minutes, with a projection, okay? A prediction for gold, because I think it's going to be very, very helpful, yeah? And it's built around the positioning of the market here, okay? So I'm going to use the tool that we've created, and that is inspired by Larry Williams, okay? So we've practically simulated the tools that he uses. And if you say, yeah, you know, someone has, yeah, of course, it comes from the best, right? If Warren Buffett, if Warren Buffett read around 5,000 books about investing, yeah? You take the best of the best and you make it better. That's what life is about. That's how we plan it forward, right? I want my son to grow up and to become a better version of myself, right? So if we can take the best of the best and we make something and we turn it and make it even better, then that's a given. Then that's nature, yeah? So that's what we have been doing. Now, if you simply look at the large speculators, so when we were talking about the weekly time frame on gold here, and we were talking specifically about, I need to update it to right there. We were talking specifically about what the larger players are doing, because we could confirm here that the large speculators, right, the investment banks, they have been buying gold, all right? They have been increasing their position in gold here, right? From 266 tons to 364. Now, that was until a certain point. And that was until the elections, okay? And if you simply look at this information, then you can see the following. This is the long positions of all the large speculators. And if you want to know where this comes from, this is the data that is extracted from the CFTC, okay? And that is where the Commitment of Traders report comes from. So that is something like this. And you might think that's, again, a lot of garbage, a lot of numbers that I don't understand. And they make it so complicated, but it's actually not that complicated if you understand how to use them correctly. And this is a report that comes out every week. And they talk about gold. And they share the amount of positions that the large speculators have. Why? Because it's important for the regulators to show the positions of the large speculators, the hedge fund managers, the investment banks. So when you're talking about the institutional banks, then we're talking about the positions, the futures and options positions of the bigger players. So when we talk specifically about this number, if we could simply turn this into a chart to simplify it, and we can compare that to the price, then we understand what is happening on a very, very clear and deeper level. And that means that at some point, we can kind of understand what's happening here. So this was pre-election, all right? And price came up. So you guys have been seeing what has been happening here. Price came up aggressively right there around that period, right? Price started to push to the upside. And this is the long positions of the hedge funds, right? The banks, the institutions right there. So what have they been doing? While price has been pushing up from that moment, right? I'm going to set a line here. What have they been doing? Let me know. You are my moose. It's been a long time seeing you back. Nice. Good to see you. Exactly, Brad. You're completely right. All right. Price was moving up, but the long positions of the large speculators were closing. All right. So they were closing their long positions right there. Okay. So how is that possible? How is it possible that the large speculators were closing their long positions while price was moving up? What could be a logical answer? And bro, it's freaking cold. Let me put it on it. Let me know. What is the logical answer right here? Yeah. If the large speculators were not buying, but price still was going up, then who was buying? Right? That should be the question. Who was actually buying at that moment? Yeah. And who was buying? Was retail. Yeah. Retail was buying. Okay. That's the game. So why is retail so important at certain moments in the market? Well, retail is important because at certain moments in the market, especially at the end of a trend, you can understand who is actually buying and who is selling. So if the large speculators, the institutions, the banks are no longer buying and retail is buying, then is that or could that indicate a potential top? That's the question that you should ask yourself. Could that indicate a potential top in the market here, right? Now, let me show you something else. While they were decreasing long positions, while they were increasing long positions, they were actually, and you will see that in a second here, increasing short positions. So they were decreasing long positions, they were increasing short positions, while retail was doing the opposite. Okay, so retail became the liquidity. That was the big indication here. Okay, retail became the liquidity towards the institutional investors. And now my question to you is the following. If you see this, and I drew a line here from here to here. Yeah, and let me set in a line. If you see this on a technical chart, would you be able to see the exact same thing as that we were just looking at? Let me know. I don't think so. Exactly. We were going up. So price simply on the price chart was just going up. All right. And that's the information that most of us have. And that's it. So my question to you is it not time to think a little bit more outside of the box? And don't you think that your technical levels are at a level now where you could say, listen, I am already at a certain level now where I know for a fact that I'm already at least, at least there where I should be. I can take this thing up from like a 1 to an 8, right? But from an 8 to a 10, yeah, whatever, right? So do you want to spend 90% of your time trying to go from an 8 to a 9? Or should you maybe focus on something and bring something, another one, up to another 8? Now you have 2 8s. That's the thought process. Yeah? You want to have multiple 8s. You want to have a series of 8s in your favor and not just that one 8. So clearly, large speculators were buying, were selling, and they're increasing their, they were increasing their short positions. Retail was the liquidity. So what happened? Price dropped and broke structure. Yeah? Price dropped and broke structure right here around that period. And that was something that we've seen coming. Okay? And that has to do with the fact that you want to understand what they're doing. Okay? And right here, around this period, and we're going to talk about the highs to the lows here. This is a 14-day move. Okay? So this is on the daily time frame, I know. But this is a 14-day cycle. And that means that in that period, yeah, for 14 days, because of this information now, you could have been bearish and clearly biased. Okay? So I don't care if you trade on a 15-minute, if you trade on a 5-minute, if you trade on the 1 hour. I truly don't care, honestly. You can do whatever, and I think it's important for you to see where your edge lays. Yeah? Absolutely. But if you take this to the 15-minute and we zoom out here, and you are now officially biased, my question to you is, what do you think that you could have done in this overall range, knowing what you knew now? So imagine that you knew that beforehand, and you saw it then breaking structure, right? You understand the technicals. You understand how to work with technicals. Imagine what you could have done with this particular move towards the downside. You could have taken a lot of trades, my friend, in your favor with your buys, understanding exactly what has been happening. Okay? That's the point. So right now, to finish it off here, right? That's how the COT data works. It shows you exactly what the positions are doing, right? What has been happening around that period of time. Now, let's see what has happened right now. Because we actually came down, right? We actually dropped around, 2,000 pips. And we took that massive trade on our channel based upon that exact information. And we took that trade because of the fact that we knew that information. We were in a position. And we just simply wanted to, scale in. That's all we wanted to do. Yeah? Scale in our position and get into our trade here. Now, the moment we started to consolidate here, and I think this is an important moment for right now, for example. The moment we started to consolidate around that period, and that is between, let's say, November 25th and December 9th. Okay? So take that one very serious right here. November 25th and December 9th. So that's around, again, a 14-day cycle. All right? And if you have been looking at gold here, you probably felt asleep. Like when you were trading on gold here, I think a lot of you guys, had a hard time around here. Why? Because, gold was ranging. Gold was practically just going up and down, left and right. It was not much was happening, correct? So, during that time period, what has happened? Well, the positioning changed, okay? And that's why I wanted to go over this one. And don't get scared away. I'm gonna quickly change my screen and scenery up here to the other side so you see what I'm seeing. Let me quickly fix that right there. Boom. There we go. Yeah, gold was rough in the last 2 weeks. But what has happened here, okay? And this is the net positioning. So these are the shorts of the large speculators. That chart that I just showed you, these are the numbers that represent that, yeah? So don't get confused, don't get scared away. It's not hard at all. Very easy to understand, very easy to digest. These are the shorts right there, okay? Change in shorts. And what has happened over the last 2 weeks? So what did I say? November 26th, November 25th, until December 9th. Yeah? You tell me what they have been doing here, guys. I know there are some guys in the chat that know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? So let me know. What have they been doing there? Let me know. Let's see if some guys know it. Closing shorts, yes, G's. You guys are G's, exactly. So between the 26th of November, look at the amount of short contracts that they have been closing around that period, right? We were at 87,000 shorts and we went to 47,000 shorts. So we almost closed 40% in shorts. Yeah, we also closed longs, but we only closed around what, 5 to 8% in longs against 40% of their short positions. So in this range, specifically right here, they were closing a shit ton of short positions. And if their intention was to bring price further down, guys, honestly, if their intention was to bring price further down, then why the fuck would they close 40% of their short positions in the first place? Like, they wouldn't do that. Yeah, they would build up on their short positions, right? They would build that new trend. They would follow through on the trend they were creating because they had the opportunity here. Price came down 2,000 pips. We took advantage of that. Price came up. Price came down. But again, here, we started to enter a weird range. That's where you should not be looking at the technicals anymore, guys. You can stare at a range. Honestly, bro, you can stare at a range as long as you want, but nothing is going to change. So you can stare at that range and hope for a breakout, but it just doesn't come. And then the next day, no breakout. And then the next day, no breakout. And then it's 2 weeks to 3 weeks later, and there is a breakout. And then, you're completely off track already. Because you have been staring at a chart where nothing was happening for around 2 weeks straight. Yeah? But if you looked at the data, then you would have seen right there that around that period, they have been closing a shit ton of short positions. So that information should tell you that price indeed was potentially moving further to the upside instead of further pushing down, right? That's the idea here. So that's the way to track it. Now, what's happening at this moment? All right, I'm going to close it with this here for today. Price is breaking further to the upside. Yeah, and the dollar is chilling, right? The dollar is in that weekly resistance. The dollar is ranging. Gold has been doing whatever it wants to do right now. Don't even bother looking at the dollar. Gold has been pushing up. And the non-commercials have been closing their short positions. So that means that most of these guys right now have been massively taking profit, okay? Massively taking profits here while price was coming down. So their intent is now probably to bring price again further to the upside. all right? And then we have another tool that's called the forecasting tool, and that's built around seasons, right? The seasonality of the market. So we have something that's called a Christmas rally. And you know how much jewelry actually gets sold in December, right? The gold fabrication, the manufacturing of a lot of jewelry in December. You know how high the demand is for gold around Christmas? It's insane. So a lot of guys know that, and a lot of guys are positioned upon that. So they're anticipating on price pushing further to the upside here. So jewelry is a really big thing in December. Yeah. And this is what we have been doing here, right? We're looking to see if we can take that move towards the upside here. So I'm very bullish on gold, and I will stay bullish on gold for now. And I'm at this moment at least not changing up my bias here. So I'm interested in looking at buys for gold until the data tells me something different. So right now, we have been beautifully grinding out. And I'm going to simply start looking at any pullback for a potential continuation until I get proven otherwise. That's all I'm going to do for gold. There is no reason for me to now say I'm not interested in shorting gold here and trying to predict the top here. Okay? So where a lot of sellers will step in here at the moment, I believe that in many cases you're going to find that once this is taken out, we're going to see a pullback. And I do believe that at certain moments, we're just going to continue to drive up higher. Gold has no signs of slowing down right now, and there is no intention of stopping it. Otherwise, these guys would have built up on their short positions. They would have not aggressively closed down on their shorts that aggressive. Okay? So when it comes down to your technical analysis, when it comes down to, you know, you're executing, whatever your strategy is, nothing changes. Absolutely nothing changes. Everything is the same. You know how to enter. You know how to press enter. You know how to buy. You know where to buy. I think that even from a technical standpoint, you know roughly around what levels to look for. I believe that you have the capabilities all. But what I think is important is that you want to start working with your bias and you start to improve on your bias in order to get where you want to be. Okay? I think that is very important. So let me know, guys, if you have any questions here. And it's great to be back, and it's great to be and do a little bit of a catch up with you guys here to see, you know, how you guys have been doing overall. And we're heading into the yearly end, and I want the best for you. I want the best for your families. And I just don't want you to waste any more precious fucking time, right? It's over. So my goal is to come here and to just, you know, drop some bombs. And whenever the time is to trade, I will be here to trade. That's it. So the day trading strategy will be changed? No, nothing has been changing. Everything is the same, right? We don't have to. Like we get that. Where can I get the color positions data you were showing? COT reports, cotstraightreports.com. It's free. Get familiar with it. Dive into it. Understand this guy's method. He has been trading the same strategy, right? This guy has been trading the same strategy right here. This guy's been trading the same strategy for 60 years. And he's still trading. He's 82 years old right now. He's still trading. He won the Williams Cup. He turned $10,000 into $1 million utilizing an aggressive method, but utilizing that strategy because he was very convinced. He had a very clear bias. And his teenage daughter won the Williams Cup 10 years or 20 years later. Yeah? Think about that. His teenage daughter. All right? So if you're struggling, think about him and his teenage daughter that apparently have a system that do not change here. So the underlying conditions don't change. Okay? Somebody has to win and somebody has to lose in this game. That's how the game works. Okay? So you can decide on which side you want to be on. You want to be on the winner side, you want to be on the loser side, but somebody has to lose. That narrative doesn't change. So your only incentive is to understand how they are positioned, to then use your magical skill set, your magical technical skill set to take action and to actually crush the markets here. So how are we looking from here? Well, we are going to continue to drive. We're going to come up live now and then. I have a extremely busy schedule. I'm working on a lot of things. I'm traveling. I'm doing a lot of things right now. We're aiming on the bigger picture. We are here for you. We're making sure that we are fully ready. COTreports.com. All right. Check it out. It's free data. Get familiar with it. Ask me anything. Message me personally. I'll get back to you. Okay? I'll get back to you. Message me personally. Reach out to me in the group, in Discord. It's free to join. We're going to talk about gold. We can talk about anything related to this data. All right? Because it's time to change up your bias to become very, very convinced. All right? I also have a bunch of tools that I've created that are building that and are reflecting that on the charts as well. That's the next step. I want you to get familiar with the data first. So once you have an understanding of the data and you understand how this works a little bit, then you can understand how the technicals work, how we can use that indicator like I showed you here, and how you can actually start using this information. What you can do already is sign up on the waiting list in the description. You click on the link here, you click on join the waiting list. Right there, you fill in your name, fill in your username. We'll get back to you. We're going to release them very soon. We don't have an exact date yet, but in my opinion, get familiar with this first. And I'm going to see you in the next live stream right here, making sure that we are stepping up our game here. So my predictions, yeah, I have been posting a couple of them on my channel. You know, gold perfect, GU perfect, right? Dollar perfect. New Zealand dollar is what we're looking at right now, is recovering as well. And like I said here, it's very important to mention that my bias is very clear. I believe in the New Zealand dollar making a bigger pullback, but we have to first shift the intraday trend. So if you watch my latest video, did we shift the intraday? We didn't do that yet. So once we are shifting the intraday, I'm still going to go long on the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar. And I can see the dollar struggling, right? The dollar is struggling around that weekly resistance. And this is the time to sit on your hands with the dollar, to be patient. We're heading in towards the end of the year. You can see the dollar is consolidating. And look at what we have been doing here. The dollar was consolidating for a longer period of time. But once the dollar goes, it absolutely goes. So if you want to be ready, then this is the time to get prepared, to be patient with the dollar. In the meantime, get ready for a gold break. And that should do the job. I think that gold will will continue to drive until further notice. There's no reason for it to come down right now. All right, G's. If you like this impulsive streamer, type in a 1 in the chat. And if you want me to come back a little bit more often lately, even when I'm traveling, even when I'm on the road, sometimes I will be home, sometimes not, then press a yes in the chat. And then we're just gonna have a fantastic combination of live streams now and then with a lot more content coming your direction. Okay? That's it. Of course, if you find a trade, we find a trade. Also, I highly recommend to look at the content as well, because predictions are always gonna be a thing that I do. I like to do things up front. I'm not that guy that is always gonna show you things afterwards. You know, if I'm right 70 or 80% of the time, built around that information, then I'm extremely happy. I'm extremely happy. So I will always be upfront with you guys, and you know that I've always been this way. That's how I've built my name, my brand, my name in the space, right? By just always being upfront, always taking the hits whenever I needed to take the hits, when things were not going in my direction either, right? So you guys know how the story ends here. Looking forward to see that, all right? Love you all. You guys are the best. It's great to see you back here. And I love the core community we have been building. And it's only getting better and better. And I'm very happy with all the guys stepping up, sharing wisdom in the chart right here. And it's time to level up. And it's time to really take next year serious. And if you are serious about absolutely changing up your game here, trying to understand the bigger picture and feeling that you're climbing a ladder forever, right? The ladder is moving down and you're climbing up, then trust me, my friend, you are not alone. You are not alone. And this is a very common thing. And maybe the solution or the problem that you are trying to solve is not actually the problem. So I'm going to leave it with that. All right? I'm going to watch a movie or something. Take care. Much love. I hope to see you in the community. And I'm going to see you on the next live. All right? Take care. Love you all.